So today I want to talk about the case of missing Australian boy William Tyrrell. It was revealed a few weeks ago that William Tyrrell's foster parents harmed a girl that was in their care. The foster mother hit her with a spoon, she kicked her and subjected the poor girl to psychological abuse. And disturbingly, the foster father grabbed this poor little girl by her throat and tried to restrain her. It is thought that the little girl that they harmed was William Tyrrell's biological sister. William Tyrrell was fostered along with his biological sister. They were placed with the same foster parents, and William Tyrrell's biological sister remained in the care of these foster parents after her brother William mysteriously disappeared. The foster parents fostered another little girl, and they claim that the elder girl that they had in their care didn't like that they'd fostered the younger child. They said her behaviour became very bad, and that is why they had to punish her. Really? There is never, ever any need to hit a child, especially with a spoon. There is also never, ever any need to kick a child. This poor girl was put into timeout for 44 minutes, and during this timeout she tried to get up numerous times, and this nasty cow of a foster mother kept pushing her back down. She eventually told both of the foster parents that she hated them, and that seemed to tip the pair of them over the edge. Children regularly tell their parents that they hate them, especially when they're approaching or during their teenage years. But thankfully, most normal parents don't react by hitting their child with a spoon, by kicking them, by subjecting them to verbal abuse and psychological abuse. If you're not aware, William Tyrrell disappeared on the 12th of September 2014 from his foster grandma's home, which is located in Kendall in New South Wales in Australia. When William Tyrrell disappeared, he was apparently playing with his sister in the garden of his foster grandmother's home. His foster grandmother and his foster mother said that he was playing tigers in the garden. They've also at times claimed he was playing hide and seek with his sister, who was 4 years old when William disappeared. William was 3. William couldn't be heard for a few minutes because he was roaring and playing tigers in the garden. His foster mother says she goes to look for him and he's gone. They've always claimed that he was abducted, and unfortunately, in my opinion, the police that initially looked at the case did think that William had been kidnapped or abducted. They didn't suspect the foster parents, which in my opinion was mistake number 1. People that physically abuse children and mentally abuse children should not ever be allowed to foster them. Learning this news just cemented my feelings about what really happened to William Tyrrell. I've always felt the foster parents were involved, mainly from the statements I have heard from the foster mother, the foster father, and the foster grandmother, who, if you're not aware, is dead and obviously cannot tell her side of the story from beyond the grave. Thankfully, before William's foster grandmother died, she did give an interview. I have watched this interview, and I have to say, I found it very, very disturbing. Just as I found an interview that William's foster father did extremely disturbing too. There are many things that the foster father and the foster grandmother said, and also the foster mother, that don't add up, that lead me to believe that they really know what happened to William, and that something horrific, maybe an accident or even a murder, was covered up. I really hope that something happens in William's case before we hit the 8-year anniversary, which will happen on the 12th of September this year. William deserves justice. I have to be honest with you all and say that I do not believe that William is still alive. I believe he died on that day, and I believe there was a major cover-up. I'm always particularly interested to hear the thoughts of my Australian viewers, as I know you're all very passionate, like me, about William being found and about William getting justice. If he is dead, he deserves a funeral. His biological family deserve to know what happened to him. The biological family have had the finger pointed at them numerous times. I do not feel that they're involved. I know they didn't want to lose William and his sister. They did have problems with domestic abuse and drug and alcohol problems, but they still loved their children. Obviously, perhaps they were not fit to look after them, but I do not believe that they abducted William from the foster parents. I just don't buy it. Where his grandmother's home was in a quite remote area in Kendall. It backed onto bushland, which in my opinion would have been a perfect place to dump a body. Now, if you're aware of William's case, you may be aware that last November and December, a major search was carried out around his foster grandmother's home, which is now occupied by a different person, and the bushland surrounding the home was searched, along with water tanks, septic tanks. The garden was dug up, and from what I could see, not one stone was left unturned. Now, some fabric was found during the search, which may have matched the outfit that William had on, which was a Spider-Man outfit. This is what makes this case so strange. A little 3-year-old boy disappeared in a bright red and blue Spider-Man outfit. No one saw him. No one seems to know what happened to him, but someone does know. And is it the foster parents, or could he really have been abducted? Please share your thoughts with me on William's case, especially if you've never shared them with me before. I would love to know what you think happened to William. So please do pop me a comment below and let me know what you think really happened to William Tyrrell. I have to say, I know some people agree with smacking children. Hitting a child with a spoon, kicking them and throttling them is a lot different to a quick smack across the knee or the backside. I don't agree with that either. I have to be honest, I don't agree with ever hitting a child. Parents, in my opinion, should never need to smack their children, because really a strong tone of voice should be enough to stop a child from being naughty or doing something their parents don't want them to do. You should never have to resort to violence. Perhaps some people that smack their children think it's the right thing to do. Often they were smacked by their own parents and they just think it's a normal thing to do. I can't stand watching people smack their children. You often see it happen in the UK in supermarkets. A busy mum has gone to do her food shopping with her children. Her children start to play up and she smacks them in the middle of the supermarket in front of everyone. I just hate seeing that. Nowadays in the UK you can get your shopping delivered. So why not get your shopping delivered rather than drag your child to a shop and then smack them in front of other customers? William Tyrrell's foster parents thought it was quite okay to smack foster children in their care, and let's face it, like I said, it wasn't just smacking. It was beating a little girl with a spoon, kicking her, subjecting her to psychological abuse, and then get this poor little girl is removed from these idiots' care. They then stalk her and continue to harass her even when she's no longer in their care. These two are clearly narcissistic and potentially psychopaths. They only seem to care about themselves. Maybe, just maybe, they only ever fostered children to make a bit of the good old money, to make some dollars. Perhaps they never cared about children. Perhaps they didn't want to give children a better life. Perhaps really they just wanted a better life for themselves and didn't give two hoots about the children that they fostered. That's how I feel about them. I have researched William's case for hours and hours. I've listened to every podcast and watched nearly every YouTube video about William Tyrrell. And after all of my research, I still feel that his foster parents are involved, and I just wish I knew what had happened to William. I just wish I could get the little boy justice. But by talking about him today, I hope that more people will talk about him. I hope that more YouTubers will start to cover William's case. I appreciate it's a cold case, but just because William's been gone for nearly 8 years doesn't mean that his case should not be discussed regularly. I really hope that he does get justice. I really hope that when his nasty foster parents go to court next year, they throw the book at them, lock them up and throw away the key. Maybe they should be hit with a wooden spoon. Maybe they should be put into timeout. Maybe they should be kicked. Maybe they should be subjected to psychological abuse. And then they'd know how the poor little girl that they did that to felt. I have to say, I was really pissed off when I heard about this. In fact, I cried. I was so disgusted when I read what they'd done to William's sister. It made me think, just what on earth did they do to William? I'm going to leave it here, guys, because my emotions are getting all over the place and I'm getting a bit upset. I do find these people repulsive and disgusting, and I'd love to know what you think about them and the way they treated this poor little girl in their care, and share with me whether it's made you think that they did something to William Tyrrell.